I feel like that was the fastest 2 minutes ever. So, and the conference is completely on time. This is one for the records. Lots of work going behind the scenes here. But welcome back, everyone. There are literally no words to describe the level of awesomeness for our next discussion. We are thrilled to welcome the Canadian participants of Project 19 for our next panelists, and it will be moderated by Jessie. So Jessie, I'll let you take the floor really quickly.
Thanks, Allison. All right, is Veronica with us? I can't see her. Veronica, if you're there, can you please turn on your camera? Awesome, thank you. All right, hi everyone, and welcome to the last panel of the Inspire Conference. My name is Jessie, and I'll be the moderator. A quick reminder that you can download the translation app. The link is in the chat. Bonjour à toutes et à tous, et bienvenue au dernier panel de la conférence Inspirer. Je m'appelle Jessie et je serai la modératrice. Un petit rappel pour vous télécharger l'application de traduction. Le lien se trouve dans le chat. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I'm so excited to hear what these inspiring women have to say. But first, just to make sure that everyone knows what Project 19 is, we're going to watch this really cool video. So sit tight, enjoy, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. J'ai tellement hâte d'entendre ce que ces femmes inspirantes ont à dire. Mais avant, afin que tout le monde comprenne ce qu'est Project 19, nous allons regarder une vidéo vraiment inspirante et tripante. Donc, bonne écoute et à tout de suite.
60 seconds, ladies. All you got. You're ready.
Project 19 is more than just a vertical world record. The 19th Amendment granted women the right to vote in the USA.
And the original idea of Project 19 was to celebrate the centennial of that event 100 years later by doing a 100-way vertical world record with just women.
It is a mission to inspire women and girls to lead bold, brave lives of their own design. The women are an unbelievable group of people. There's some professional skydivers, some weekend skydivers, there's someone who's a rocket scientist, a doctor, but they're all people that have put a huge amount of focus into skydiving in their lives to become at a super high level.
We got all of the female leaders in their skydiving community together, and we asked them to help us.
Sort of empowered them and said, like, hey, you go out and start training people.
This happened in the suffrage movement. Women from around the world had to come together.
And that's how we started building this big team.
Now we know we're ready. We decided to go into Friday morning with a group of 72 women, which is a very symbolic number. Boom, we nailed it. We nailed it on the first jump.
Yes, we just built the first record of the day.
So we went up to do an 80-way. And we nailed it again. So we got 2 skydiving world records in a row.
More friends.
The goal is the 100-way. That's the number we want. All of the 100-way attempts on the last day have been just amazing.
We still can do it!
Yeah! On each jump, you got the feeling like, oh my God, maybe we made it, you know? It was challenging to ask each person to continue to perform perfect on every single jump.
We're running out of daylight. Right now, if we get up there, we have enough for 2 more jumps.
So we decided to go up and do a 97 way.
Big, real lead, ladies.
Minus 3, 2, 1, green light. Green light, exit, exit, exit.
I opened my parachute, I felt like we made it. I could see the cameramen, they were cheering, so I just thought, wow, we did it.
Looked pretty good from my angle. Everyone's cheering, so I think it looked pretty good from all angles.
We got down and we realized it was just off by this small moment. We built 96 out of 97, and it was so close. And at the same time, during the descent, one of the really most important key flyers blew an eardrum and she was bleeding out of her ear. You gotta try, right? You gotta keep trying until the end. So regardless of what we were facing, we kept going for it. When we went up for that last attempt, we were asking people to now shift into totally different sections. It was a very, very challenging situation.
That wasn't a very good jump.
Then it was over at that point. That was our last attempt. And you would think that the energy would be down and the vibe would be down, but it wasn't. Everybody landed and the energy was up and the appreciation was up and there was a sense of accomplishment and a huge sense of satisfaction in all the hard work we've done and the teamwork. What everyone really felt is hungry for the future. We still want that 100 way. We're still looking towards the future. Just like the women's suffrage movement, they've come such a long way, but there's still more to go for women's rights, and we have to keep pushing in that direction. We officially broke 2 skydiving world records. We unofficially broke that record. We didn't just show the world that we could do it. We showed the world how to do it.
Okay, so this is the first time I managed not to cry while watching this video, so I'm pretty happy for that. But it still got goosebumps. And every time I watch that video, I get so inspired. I get all emotional. And, you know, I suck at free fly, but this video and this project, everything you guys stand for, it makes me want to actually learn how to fly head down and not just do those very shaky head down exits, if you know what I mean. But enough about me. Let's hear directly from the women behind Project 19. C'est maintenant au tour des panélistes de se présenter. I'll now ask each panelist to briefly introduce themselves, starting with Veronica. It came fast.
Yeah, I did. Wow, I forgot how powerful that video was as well. My name is Veronica Wolf. I have over 5,000 skydives and 15 years in the sport. And I did my first 11 years in the skydiving sport, working as a packer, flying video, being a coach, and did even tandems for one season. And I was always kind of a mediocre skydiver up until I decided to set a goal, and that was to get on the record back in 2016. And I think that changed my life forever.
That's awesome. Really setting a goal really helps, right?
Yeah, it made the biggest difference. Before that, it was just about traveling and having fun. And I thought I'd never be able to accomplish something like this. And then just one goal, and there it was.
All right. Thank you, Veronica. Up next, Monica.
Hello, I'm Monica. I'm from Montreal, but currently traveling in Western Canada. I have 1,200 jumps now, and started skydiving back in 2011. I got hooked right away and got super into competing. So I did a lot of four-way FS when I first started, competed in nationals back in 2013, went to Dubai in 2014, and then other just fun competitions around my home drop zone. And then I started free flying also when I first started skydiving. So I did FS and free flying at the same time and competed in many indoor competitions, both in dynamic or VFS. And then in 2013, I did my first women's world record, vertical world record. And then since then, a lot of Canadian vertical records. And then most recently was involved with Project 19.
Awesome. So I see that Jillian's on the call, but I don't see her. Can you turn on your camera? Awesome. You can present yourself.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Jillian. I got started in skydiving back in 2013. I'm originally from Alberta. Kind of got started as a weekend skydiver in Innisfil, where I did most of, the beginning jumps. I really started to get more into the sport somewhere around 2016, 2017, when I actually moved down to Arizona. That's currently where I live, Tucson, Arizona, hometown right now. So I have close to about 1,500 skydives now, and have been doing most of my jumps out of Eloy. We've done some multiple state records down here, and then obviously most recently the Project 19.
Great, thank you. Up next, Coralie.
Hi, my name is Coralie Boudreau. I am 19 years old and I started flying in a tunnel and competing when I was 11. My goal was always to compete in the sky, so I started jumping alone 4 years ago, and I now have about 1,200 jumps. I also took part in the World Championships that were in October, right before the record that we did in November.
Wow, you progressed really fast. That's a lot of jumps in just 4 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. Lots of training.
All right, last but not least, Catherine.
Hi, everyone. So I am Catherine, and I'm from Montreal also, just like Monica. I'm 33 years old. I started skydiving about 12 years ago, and I did my 1,000 jump on the record, or while we were doing the week. So that was pretty powerful. It meant a lot. I've never worked in the skydiving industry. But 4 years ago, Monica came up to me and said something about Project 19, this vertical world record for women. And she just got me super excited about it. Thanks, Monica. And from then on, it just became a goal, and doing big ways and just having more fun with more people.
All right, thank you, ladies, and welcome. We'll start off by asking our own very curious questions in both French and English. Panelists, if you can answer in French, please do so we have more of a little bilingual vibe. And then we'll open up the questions to the audience if you guys have any. Nous commencerons par poser nos propres questions en français et en anglais. Ensuite, vous pourrez poser vos propres questions dans le chat. Je vais commencer par leur demander de nous donner un aperçu de ce qu'est Project 19 et comment celui-ci a vu le jour. So Veronica, can you start by giving us an overview of what Project 19 is and how it came to be?
All right. I think Project 19 is a symbol of, a representation of, and a celebration of 100 years of women having the right to vote. And that happened a few years apart globally amongst most countries. How it came to be is, I think, to celebrate the 19th Amendment, which was going to happen in 2020 for America. The Women Skydiving Network approached our very own Sarah Curtis and Amy Schmalecki and asked them if they could collaborate together and create something big and meaningful to show the world how great women are. And I feel that's how Project 19 was formed. And they really wanted to shine and make a big statement, I think, to celebrate the 100 years. And 100 years really isn't that long in the grand scheme of things. I was thinking about it, and the house I live in right now was built before women had the right to vote. when you start thinking of it that way, you're like, that wasn't so long. And of course, we're still working on having all our rights, as we all know what's going on globally. I think Project 19 brought 100 plus of the most strong-minded, adventurous, powerful woman. It was so inspiring to be there. It was just one amazing woman after the other. Like, even watching that video, I wanted to cry. And I want to go back. I want to go back and be surrounded with all that awesome. I feel like I really need that on a daily basis. But we all came together and we all had our hurdles and challenges, and you know, it was postponed by 2 years, and the woman stayed strong and positive. And no matter what our hurdles were, which we're going to touch on later on in this panel, women just shine through, and we united together, and we finished it. We finished the project, and that's who women are. I think we're just great humans, and we should always be appreciated and recognized.
Amen to that.
Woohoo!
Monica, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit like Veronica explained. I remember hearing about Project 19 vaguely at the beginning of 2019, when we started seeing those first portrait shots for regional captain. And then I immediately went to the Broken Records website where they explain a little bit the mission and what they want to do. And I completely fell in love with the project, and I wanted to be in. And I remember writing an email to Amy and Sarah and saying that I wanted to help out and represent Canada. And then shortly after, I became a regional captain for the Eastern Canada. So yeah, the original mission was to build that 100-way vertical formation to celebrate the 100th anniversary. But I think, like we saw in the video, and as we all felt in the record, it was much more than that. And I think that's really what, you know, made it so successful. And so it was supposed to happen in 2020, but with pandemic, got pushed back 2 years. And I think that's probably a good thing, because there's some girls that were maybe not quite ready, like back in 2020, or not old enough, like Coralie, who wouldn't have been able to participate in a world record. So I think it's actually amazing that we kind of still pulled through, and then got just this huge team, to be able to do this project. So the skydive goal stayed the same, I think, throughout the years, but the mission was just so much more. And they say it in the video, and it's a little bit empowering to say, you know, the mission is to inspire women to live bold, brave lives. And I think that's like something that just stays with us. So yes, it's a skydiving record, but it's a lot more than that, I think.
I think so too. Everything you're saying it just sounds so positive. And there must have been so many awesome moments during the project. So which one was your favorite? Il doit y avoir eu plein de beaux moments à travers ce projet. Coralie, peux-tu nous dire quel a été ton préféré?
C'est certain qu'un de mes moments favoris, ça a été quand on a eu l'annonce du record officiel. Je dirais le premier, parce que c'est la première fois que je faisais partie d'un projet qui était aussi gros pour ce qui est des records. Puis le fait que tout le monde avait la même énergie, tout le monde était tellement heureux que tous les efforts qu'ils ont mis depuis, pour certaines, plusieurs années, ça a été enfin récompensé, puis on a réussi à atteindre cet objectif-là. Puis sinon, j'ai vraiment aimé les petits moments qui étaient un peu présents pendant toute la semaine, comme justement être entourée de toutes ces femmes-là qui sont inspirantes, ou juste de tenir le bébé d'une des filles pendant un des débriefings, ou aller manger au soleil avec des amis. C'était toutes des petites choses qui étaient vraiment le fun. Puis un dernier des moments que j'ai adoré, c'était ma position dans la formation, c'était un pod closer. Donc, il y avait un pod entier qui était attaché à moi. Puis juste le fait d'agrandir la formation, puis de sentir qu'il y avait de plus en plus de personnes qui étaient sur moi, puis de sentir qu'il y avait de plus en plus de tension, puis qu'il fallait résister à ça pour que ça fonctionne, c'est vraiment un sentiment que j'ai aimé, honnêtement.
Fait que t'as vraiment aimé le challenge que ça t'a apporté, puis la cohésion qu'il y a eu parmi les filles.
Ouais, exactement.
Vraiment cool. Jillian, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was really hard to pick a favorite moment. I feel like the entire project sort of had this overreaching moment within it. But one of the one of the things that I was able to sort of pin down was the moment after we got that first 72-way record. It would have been so easy to, I don't want to say quit from there, but lose our motivation and not try anymore, knowing that, we already have a record. And I, in that moment, to be able to go up on the next jump right away and actually beat that record. And it really felt like in that moment, it motivated people for that 100 way. We wanted everybody there to come on the record with us. And we wanted, you could even hear Melanie in the video say, more friends, more friends. And that was a huge thing with this particular record, is that it never felt like we were doing it individually. It really felt like we were doing it as a team. And I honestly think that's one of the only reasons we were as successful as we were. And I think that overall was probably one of my favorite moments. And it led to the consistency that we had from day one. The 40 women that were the inner core, I don't think we had a jump where that 40-way broke apart. We added on to that 40-way and made a 72-way base. And then from that jump on, that 72-way base was solid. And those moments just sort of compounded from there. And I think that was what made this event as powerful as it was. So I think that was my favorite moment of it.
Well, it certainly feels like it's in line with the motto of the event. I mean, like, everything is about pushing women and bringing them together, and that's what it feels like. You did one record and then it just motivates to have even more people join. That's just totally awesome. But throughout all those positive moments, there must have been some difficulties, right? So, Catherine, est-ce que tu peux nous dire qu'est-ce qui a été la plus grosse difficulté rencontrée?
Oui, certainement. En fait, je vais séparer un peu la question en deux. Je vais séparer ça d'un côté collectif, mais aussi je vais parler de mon expérience personnelle. Donc, collectivement, oui, il y a le Project 19 que ça s'appelle, mais il y a aussi, malheureusement, je vais en parler, du COVID-19. Malheureusement, on a été pris en temps de pandémie. Ça fait en sorte, veut pas, pour faire un record d'une si grosse ampleur, ça prend beaucoup de gens, beaucoup d'entraînement, beaucoup de pratique. Malheureusement, le tunnel ici à Montréal, là je parle pour le Québec, mais aussi du côté de l'Ouest canadien, on n'a pas eu la chance d'avoir un tunnel ou d'avoir un endroit pour se pratiquer à l'intérieur. Donc, à cause des restrictions aussi, ça faisait en sorte qu'on ne pouvait pas être plusieurs personnes pour s'entraîner en même temps sur les drop zones. Donc, moi, personnellement, pour ma part, c'est quelque chose que je n'ai pas mentionné. Je faisais partie du B-team, donc sur le banc. J'étais comme l'espèce de personne, si jamais il y a quelqu'un qui se blessait ou si jamais il y a quelqu'un qui arrivait quoi que ce soit, je pouvais prendre la relève si j'étais prête et si je démontrais les skills nécessaires. Et pour ma part, c'est ça. Donc, dans les dernières années, j'avais l'impression que je devais vraiment augmenter mon niveau et pour faire partie de l'élite du monde. Et malheureusement, donc, il y a eu certaines restrictions à ce moment-là. Même si tu as le mindset ou même si tu as la motivation, il y a souvent des choses qui font en sorte que ça peut être difficile. Il y a aussi le côté financier, veut pas, pour certaines personnes, c'est quand même, ça peut être très difficile d'aller faire tellement d'entraînement, c'est coûteux. Et on avait la chance, pour notre part avec Project 19, que les sauts et le registration, donc l'inscription, était payée. On n'a jamais vécu ça. On est extrêmement reconnaissante à ce niveau-là. Donc ça enlevait un petit peu le côté stress financier. Et malheureusement, j'ai parlé pour ma part, donc pendant l'événement, je me suis blessée. Donc là-bas, une fois en Arizona, en train de faire les sauts de pratique, même si j'étais sur les sauts de pratique avec le B-team, donc le banc, malheureusement, sur un des sauts qui allait super bien, et j'avais vraiment une belle lancée, j'étais Tout allait bien, j'étais confiante, j'avais vraiment un bon feeling et je me suis fait confirmer par la suite, mais malheureusement, sur un des sauts, à l'atterrissage, il y avait un trou au sol et dislocation de la rotule droite avec déchirure de 2 ligaments. Disons qu'après 4 ans d'efforts et après 4 ans d'entraînement, de mindset, de motivation qu'on devait aller chercher, malheureusement, ça s'est arrêté pour moi à ce moment-là. Donc, c'est difficile d'avoir eu un but si fort, si présent, qui s'évapore d'un coup sec. Donc, mais je tiens vraiment à dire que les filles qui étaient là-bas étaient incroyables. Là, je parle de Monica, Coralie, quand vous m'avez vu, Véronica, avec qui j'habitais aussi à ce moment-là, ont été super supportés. J'ai eu du support de leur part incroyable. Malheureusement, ce qui a fait en sorte que c'était aussi difficile, t'es loin de la maison, t'es loin de ta famille, tous tes amis ou les filles qui étaient présentes, malheureusement, étaient en train de s'entraîner et d'essayer d'accomplir quelque chose d'extraordinaire, dont le record. Donc, tu n'as pas nécessairement de référence ou de personnes qui sont là pour t'aider, ce qui a été un petit peu plus difficile. Tu te sens comme un peu seul parce que c'est un environnement inconnu, mais ça fait partie de la game. On est consciente que ça peut arriver. Je suis contente pour ma part que ça me soit arrivé individuellement et que ça soit pas comme une collision ou quoi que ce soit qui est arrivé parce que malheureusement, ça fait partie des risques. Mais vraiment, je tiens vraiment à dire merci à toutes les filles qui m'ont démontré un support d'une façon ou d'une autre, que ce soit un lift, que ce soit une nourriture, en tout cas, vraiment, vous avez été incroyables avec moi à ce niveau-là. Véronica a probablement quelque chose à ajouter aussi.
Yes, Veronica, do you have anything to add to that?
I wish I understood something that she said. But I went through the whole experience with her, and you know what? I don't think I wanted to do that with anyone else. That girl was the best to go through all the emotions that we went through. And if I didn't have Catherine as a roommate and as a friend there for me, for all her support, I don't know if I would have made it. So, oh, Catherine, you're the best.
Oh, thanks.
And her one more foot mentality. I feel like that's what got me through the whole thing. Just one more foot. So thank you for being so awesome. She's a trooper. She's such a trooper.
Well, you didn't understand what she was saying in French, but she was essentially saying thanks to everyone for having been there for her. It was great emotional support.
Oh, she was there for us. She was 100% there for us. And I probably couldn't have gone through it without her, for sure. But I, of course, got there with so much of my own baggage as well. I think the woman that I was, when I started the whole journey and commitment to Project 19, was a completely different person that I showed up to do the record as. When I started, I was at the height of my skydiving career. I was doing like 500 to 1,000 skydives a year. I was training really hard. I spent a lot of time in Houston, Spaceland Houston, where the skill level was ridiculous. And when I came back to Canada, and Amy Schmilacki came out here for a camp and chose me as a regional captain, I was so honored. I was it was such a big deal to be recognized for your skills and for someone like that to believe in you. And like I said before, I never thought I would reach that status. So it really meant the world. And then the world changed. And my life changed and COVID happened and I didn't have the opportunities just to stay current at all. And then me and my partner opened up a business, and then the business took off. And then when they finally set a date for the record, it was like the summer before that was our first summer as a restaurant in Golden, BC. We were so busy. I didn't have a chance to train. I was uncurrent. I would do hop and pop at like a little drop zone here just to get my knees in the breeze. And I thought, okay, just get through the busy season, then use September and October to train really hard. And at that point, right at the end of the summer, my dog got really sick and I just became a full-time mom to my dog, and all of my hopes and dreams for training went down. I'm gonna cry over my dog, sorry. But it just went downhill, and everything that I wanted to do for Project 19 didn't happen. And I was so scared to go in there because I thought for sure I'm gonna get cut. And the only thing I was able to do was visualize. And I woke up in the morning and I visualized, I went to bed and I visualized, and that was all I could do. And I was like, oh my God, it's not gonna be enough. And I'm gonna disappoint all the people that at one point thought I was worth it, you know? Sorry.
You're good.
I didn't know I was gonna get this emotional, but my dog always brings this up. And so, yeah, I went there, and if it wasn't for the support system that I had and all these encouraging women, I don't know if I would have made it, but somehow I fought through. And like I said, my only skill at the end of the day ended up being my mind. I knew that I could fly. I knew that like I had the skills. There was no doubt in my mind that I had the skills. I just had to open up that little folder and find it. But it was my mindset that was the biggest challenge. And I think that at the end of the day, I'm so proud of what I was able to accomplish just based on the mind power. And so if there was anyone ever that didn't have the money to do things or didn't have the practice, like just know there's so much power in your mind. And in visualization and walking things through and visualizing doing great. And I've never been a part of something so big as P19. And I still remember the first moment that we were allowed to touch and take grip. And I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of legs, you know? And it was so overwhelming and so powerful, but like I stuck it. I might have not had the greatest levels, but I was there. I docked every single time. And I feel like I had the biggest challenges that personally on my personal level that I ever thought I'd ever have going into this. And I'm still just so happy that I was able to make it and I was able to be a part of it. And I was still able to come home to my dog for a little bit. But yeah, I think that life just throws curveballs at you, and setting a goal 4 years ago, you know, life does change. Women have babies, women get married, life becomes important, life changes. We all grow up in different ways, and who knows what we face. But I think being able to stay strong and keep your eye on the prize, you know, and get there. And I didn't set a record. I was on the biggest women's formation ever made in history, and I'll be proud of that, and I'll forever be proud of that. It was still the coolest experience of my life, and I will be there for the next one for sure. Hopefully more current.
Thank you so much for sharing. I know those little animals of ours, we hold them dear to our heart, and it means a lot to us. And I've seen from what you girls have said so far how big of an impact Project 19 has had. But I want to hear more about this. Donc, j'ai posé la question, pourquoi est-ce que ce projet est si important et c'est quoi le lien avec les femmes au Canada? So Jillian, can you tell us why Project 19 is so important and how does it relate to women in Canada?
Yeah, I think on a couple different levels. I think within the skydiving community specifically, this project really brought to light the possibility of doing these kind of things while being encouraging to each other. I don't know how many people out there have done something this big or have been involved in the records, but it's not uncommon for people to have negative experiences on these records, to feel like they're always in competition with the person beside them, to feel like every jump they're fighting for their spot and they come down and they're disappointed because they made one little mistake. I mean, nobody's ever going to get through these without making mistakes. It's almost impossible. And I feel like this particular project really brought to light that we were able to get through it by supporting each other. And the person next to you. In our little pod that we had, we would walk out before the jump, and we'd have a little powwow, and we called ourselves the E-Pod, and it never felt like the person next to me was trying to get my spot or was waiting for me to make the mistake so that they could get it. And I kind of hope that vibe continues with these type of big ways, and that we realize the importance of encouraging each other and how successful that can be, as opposed to always feeling like we're in that competition. So I think on a skydiving level, this project was important to just highlight that aspect of the sport. I think on a global perspective, most people don't really care that we made a skydiving record, but I feel like the world in general right now is sort of on a tipping point. We see it in the US specifically with the whole women's abortion rights that are coming up. And doing projects like these and keeping them relevant, keeping women in the media, keeping our voices heard, I think on a global perspective, that's the only way that we as a society are going to push past that and push, it might be one step back for us right now, but hopefully that will lead to 10 steps forward. And as long as we don't sort of fade into the background and lose our voice, I think that we can get those 10 steps forward, but it's only going to be through stuff like this, and continuing to do stuff like this, that I think that our voices will continue to be heard, and we're not just going to fade into the background. So I think that's why this project, and the message behind this project is so important going forward. Not because we got a skydiving record or because it was an all-women skydiving record. Those things in and of themselves are super awesome. But I think just the message that you're trying to get out there to people that aren't even in the skydiving world, that's what's important. And that's what we're trying to bring forth, and make light of for people coming up in the sport, people that are interested in doing other things, not even skydiving related, just following your dream and being that person that's going to put the next step forward and hopefully drive for something bigger. I think sometimes for Canadian women, we're such a small, we look at us and, we don't have the season that a lot of places do. Being down here in Arizona, you jump from the beginning of the year to the end of the year because the weather is there. We don't in Canada. And I remember those days. I remember, jumping for 3 months of the year, and maybe half that time you'd be weathered out. So we sometimes don't realize the importance of all of these little groups getting together to form a bigger group. And I think as Canadian women, we're part of that little section that makes the big section possible. And it takes everybody involved in order to do that. And so the little section, it's not insignificant, because without it, we can't ever make the big group. So I think that's why for Canada specifically, I think it's important that we do it, and I think it's important that we keep doing it.
Awesome, thank you so much. Coralie, est-ce que tu avais quelque chose à rajouter?
Je suis complètement d'accord avec tout ce que Jillian vient de dire. Puis je vais juste confirmer en fait que c'est vrai que pendant la formation, toutes les petites sections de la formation, comme personnellement, comme j'ai mentionné tantôt, je faisais partie d'un pont avec Monica, puis une autre des filles de la formation, puis on s'encourageait toujours avant les sauts. On apportait les bons points qu'on avait réussi à faire. On était capable de voir à quel point on avait bien fait ça sur un saut, ou qu'est-ce qu'on pouvait faire pour s'entraider, puis aider les autres qui allaient gripper sur nous par la suite. Fait que j'ai vraiment aimé vraiment le mood comme d'entraide générale du record. Puis je pense que c'est quand même quelque chose qui est commun entre les femmes en général dans le parachutisme. Puis je trouve ça vraiment le fun. Puis sinon, je trouve que plus généralement, Project 19, ça nous a permis de justement parler de la cause des femmes d'une bonne façon, puis de justement se battre un peu pour nos droits, mais de manière respectueuse. On l'a fait pour nous, on a fait un record pour justement créer une opportunité d'en parler. Puis, pour moi, c'est comme probablement à cause de ma génération, j'ai envie de dire, mais c'est un peu quelque chose qu'on prend pour acquis, je pense. Pour moi, c'est normal de pouvoir aller voter. normal de pouvoir m'habiller comme je veux, de faire ce que j'ai envie. Tu sais, on est vraiment rendu une société qui est quand même ouverte d'esprit, surtout ici. Donc, c'est important de comme se souvenir que ça n'a pas toujours été comme ça, puis que nos droits sont pas acquis, puis ils vont jamais l'être, malheureusement. Fait que c'est comme important de créer des opportunités comme ça. Surtout le fait que ça soit dans un sport qui est dominé par les hommes. Je trouvais que ça faisait un message qui était encore plus puissant, de montrer qu'on est capable de faire autant, puis de le faire aussi bien, sinon plus, à cause des qualités qu'on a.
Wow, vraiment. Tantôt, Jillian a parlé là, de l'attention médiatique. Est-ce que, Monica, tu voulais rajouter quelque chose par rapport à ça?
Ouais, ben en fait, c'est ça. Je suis comme tellement d'accord. Je trouve que Julienne, elle a vraiment réussi à faire un beau résumé concis de ce qu'on a accompli. Mais ouais, moi, quand on était là-bas, on avait eu ma mère qui était toute fière de ce qu'on faisait. Elle avait écrit à Salut Bonjour, puis elle voulait ma mère, elle écoute Salut Bonjour à tous les matins. Donc, elle voulait que les Québécoises, on passe à Salut Bonjour. Puis sur le coup, ils nous ont écrit, ils étaient intéressés. On avait même la date, tout était comme correct. OK, on était prêtes, on s'était un peu préparés. Catherine, moi, Coralie, qu'est-ce qu'on allait dire pour cette entrevue-là? Puis finalement, à la dernière minute, la veille, ils nous annulent. Sans trop nous demander de reporter quoi que ce soit. Ils ont juste dit ben, les nouvelles ont été chamboulées cette semaine, donc malheureusement, on ne pourra pas le faire. Puis sur le coup, on était tellement dans le stress du record. Là, dans cette semaine-là, on était tellement focus. C'était difficile physiquement, mais mentalement, c'était extrême le niveau de concentration que ça prenait pour répéter le même saut tout le temps parfaitement, si on veut, pour être sûr que ça réussisse. Puis, après, quand on est revenu du record, je me suis mis à écrire un peu mes pensées par rapport à Project 19, qu'est-ce que ça avait changé chez moi et tout. Puis là, je me suis mis à questionner. Hey, la fille, elle m'a dit qu'elle allait écrire un article ou qu'elle allait faire une petite mention à l'événement, mais elle l'avait comme pas faite. Elle n'avait pas fait de suivi. Donc, ça m'a comme donné envie de faire un peu de recherche sur l'histoire du mouvement des femmes au Canada, mais surtout au Québec. Puis, dans mes recherches, ce que j'ai appris, dans le fond, c'est que le début un peu des premiers pas pour les femmes au Canada pour aller obtenir, par exemple, un droit de légalisation des droits de propriété des femmes mariées. Ça datait des 1884, des années 1900 pour les premières provinces qui ont commencé à amener ces changements-là. Puis finalement, le Québec, on a fini par signer la loi sur les biens des femmes mariées en 1964. Le droit de vote, le Québec a été la dernière province à accorder le droit de vote aux élections provinciales en 1940, mis à part les territoires du Nord-Ouest. Donc, bref, tout ça pour dire que c'est en 1960 que les Canadiens ont obtenu le droit de vote, y compris les hommes, les femmes autochtones. Mais quand tu y penses, c'est 60 ans, quasiment 3 générations de femmes qui se sont battues pour avoir le droit de vote aux élections provinciales. Puis là, je fais un retour en arrière sur Salut Bonjour. Tout ça pour dire que ça m'a comme frappé un peu de voir qu'aujourd'hui, au Québec, quand on regarde n'importe quelle nouvelle, puis on parle des sports, c'est souvent des sports majoritairement hommes. Et là, OK, on peut en parler 24/7 à la radio. Là, on a un événement qu'on est 3 Québécoises, on est 5 Canadiennes à avoir participé. Puis là, il y a 0 attention qui est donnée à ça. Fait que bref, ça pour dire que j'ai écrit à la journaliste, j'y ai comme refait un résumé de l'importance de la mission, puis de ce que ça représentait et tout ça. Finalement, moi et Coralie, on a eu la chance de passer à Salut Bonjour pour montrer le message. Mais bref, tout ça pour dire que ça m'a comme fait réaliser à quel point la cause des femmes, un peu comme Coralie, je pense que notre génération, on est peut-être moins sensibilisés à ça, puis surtout, pas juste notre génération, mais notre génération là où on vit. Au Canada, on est quand même chanceuse dans un certain sens parce qu'on n'a pas à faire, on peut s'habiller comme on veut, on a quand même des droits qui sont acquis, entre guillemets, mais ça m'a comme fait comprendre un peu qu'il y a du chemin à faire, puis ça m'a sensibilisé sur la cause et tout le chemin qui reste à faire ailleurs dans le monde. C'est pour ça que c'est autant important d'avoir ce genre d'événement-là. Alors voilà, c'est un peu ma petite parenthèse sur les médias.
Ben, merci beaucoup. C'est clair qu'il y a plein de choses qui semblent acquises, mais que finalement, on se rend compte qu'avec ce qui se passe aux États-Unis, il y a des choses qui ne le sont plus. Là, fait qu'on continue à mettre de l'avant. Puis ce qui était fait, Monica, c'est parfait. Là, va à la charge. On va prendre ce qu'on veut. On va prendre ce qu'on a besoin. Avant de passer à la prochaine question, juste un petit rappel là, de poser vos questions directement dans le chat pour les personnes à la maison. So before we move on to the next question, just a reminder that if you have any questions for a panelist, you can write them down in the chat. So I can think of a lot of things that this project has probably brought you, but I want to hear specifically from you. What has Project 19 brought you? Qu'est-ce que, Monica, ce projet t'a apporté?
OK, bien pour ma part, c'était de loin le plus bel événement dont j'ai eu la chance de faire partie du haut de mes 12 saisons de parachute. Non seulement l'organisation était juste exceptionnelle, il y avait des bénévoles, des coachs, des employés, on sentait qu'il y avait une communauté derrière nous, puis on avait vraiment l'impression de faire partie de quelque chose de plus grand que nous. Puis moi, j'avais jamais ressenti une puissance d'équipe comme j'ai ressenti pendant cette semaine-là. Un peu comme Jolene, elle expliquait, on sentait pas qu'on était en compétition, on sentait pas qu'on était observé pour réussir. On dirait qu'il y avait comme cette vibe au sein de l'équipe qui faisait vraiment que on avait envie de se pousser, puis de se concentrer, puis de tout donner physiquement, même si on était brûlés. Puis même, Coralie, elle a mentionné un peu, mais on était sur la formation, on était ensemble, dans le fond, à closer la ligne que moi, j'étais dessus. Puis un des sauts, justement, on faisait le même saut à répétition. Puis Coralie, un moment donné, moi, j'ai failli me faire éjecter de la formation. J'ai reçu un gros burble. Puis j'ai juste comme senti Coralie qui m'a donné, qui me fait un petit jet de la main. Non, 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 je t'ai, tu t'en vas pas nulle part. Puis on a comme accéléré ensemble. Puis je sais pas, on dirait que j'ai comme senti que j'étais, c'est peut-être une petite anecdote, mais on dirait que je sentais que j'étais épaulée par ma coéquipière puis mes autres coéquipières autour de moi. Puis on dirait que c'est ça qui m'a donné un peu la force de dire non, non, moi, je bouge pas de là, puis on va l'avoir, ce record-là. Fait que, le but initial de l'événement, c'était de bâtir une formation de 100 femmes, puis oui, d'avoir un nouveau record du monde. C'est comme si on le sentait que c'était tellement plus que ça. Puis, de continuer à faire avancer notre sport pour les femmes qui sont représentées juste par un 10% en ce moment, d'encourager les femmes à sortir des sentiers battus, puis de travailler ensemble en équipe pour atteindre un objectif. On a atteint 2 nouveaux records du monde, la 72, la 80. Et le record de 997. Mais comme l'a dit dans la vidéo, on a continué à persévérer en équipe parce qu'avec la cohésion, avec l'engagement, on voulait aller encore plus loin ensemble. Fait que bref, j'avais jamais été plus fière que ça d'être une femme à cet événement. Voilà.
Wow, vraiment très cool. Est-ce que Catherine, tu avais quelque chose à ajouter?
Oui, si tu me permets, je vais continuer en anglais. Breaking records, my broken English. No. So I think this event gave me long-lasting friendships and a very special bond with awesome ladies from all over the world, from Italy, from France, from South Africa. It was people from all over the world, and with the experience that I had, it gave me resilience and I think a warrior mindset, because I'm going to be skydiving again soon, probably next week in Florida. So I'm back on track even after this injury, and I believe that time and effort, you can accomplish anything. And I believe that teamwork prevails also, as Monica said and everybody just said in this interview. When people come together and just like add to one another instead of just like looking or searching or looking for bad details or anything, it's just like pushes everyone together as one. And you can empower, when you can empower one another, I believe you can accomplish very, very much. So surround yourself. I think it's just like trying to closing this event. I mean, surround yourself with people that believe in you, because you need that support, and things will come together. Trust the process and be kind to yourself as you would be to your best friend, because I think that's how people can like be pushed up as one. And so I decided personally to stay at the event after my injury, because I could use the support and the love from all the other girls, but I believe that I could give also support and cheers and smiles after their jump. And just like seeing someone in a bad posture when you had a bad jump, just like seeing someone who's in even worse posture than you are, makes you feel like, all right, I got this, I can do this, we're all here together. So honestly, I think that's what this event brought me, just like this empowerment and resilience.
It goes to show really how important it is for women to get together in a community, to unite, and those events, that's exactly what they do. We should have them so much more, especially here in Canada, that we have very small numbers, right? Across the United States, we have about the same amount of, not amount, but the same percentage of women, but there are so much more skydivers in the States as there are in Canada. So I think we should work hard to have these events in our home drop zones. So if the events are not being organized, then we should organize them or try the best we can, right? All right, so at home, are there any questions that you would like to ask these awesome ladies? You can write them in the chats. And while we wait for the questions, I'm curious to know, after every competition, there has bound to be some form of down. It's like you're on a constant high all the time, go, 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 fast paced, and then nothing. So what does it look like, life where you post, I was gonna say COVID-19, but post Project 19. I'll translate that for everyone. Fait après une compétition, c'est normal, là, l'adrénaline est dans le tape, on est comme vraiment go, 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 toujours sur un high, puis après ça, l'événement se termine, oups, il n'y a plus rien, il n'y a plus d'objectif. Ça a l'air de quoi, là, la vie après une compétition de cette envergure-là? Is there someone that wants to start? Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui veut commencer?
Moi, je peux commencer si vous voulez. Je vais parler un peu en anglais parce que j'ai pas répondu encore en anglais. But personally, for me, I think the experience was a little different on that side of things because, like I said, I just came back from a competition where I trained for a year straight without any big breaks, I would say. And I was actually in my low from post-competition during the project. And it was kind of hard on that part because after a big competition, sometimes you're not particularly feeling like going back, traveling again. You kind of want to be home with your family, friends. And so I was in that period during the project, but I was surrounded by such amazing women that it made it way easier and it was way more fun because they supported me and I could talk to them and work with them. And I actually met a good friend. She was in my house. I didn't know anyone in my Airbnb, and she was actually my roommate, and she was the second youngest to be there after me. So the chances of that happening were so slim, but we're still talking now, and we supported each other, and she was so scared during the record, so we helped each other overcome everything. And yeah, so there can definitely be a low, but after the record, it was more of a high for me because, like Monica said, there was this interview we did on TV and there were all these videos coming out and it was just great memories.
Anyone else wants to add something to that?
I can go if nobody else wants to. Or do you want to, Catherine?
All right, just go for
okay.
it.
I was just going to say, for me, I actually sort of had a forced downtime after. So I had planned, I actually injured, kind of like Catherine, I had injured my knee back in May, complete ACL tear. So I had actually booked surgery for the 2 weeks after we finished. So I haven't jumped since our Project 19, and I still got a couple months yet to go. But even with that said, I still think watching the videos and watching the women that have been continuing on, it's still riding the high, even though I personally haven't been able to do the skydiving. It's just the support that everybody's been feeling and has been kind of going with, they just did a whole Florida head down record. So it's been cool to see. It's been cool to watch, even if it's from the sidelines.
Catherine, I think you had something to add.
Pretty much like Jillian, I think what they did with Project 19, there's a bunch of women who just like got together by themselves in different states and different areas of the world and just like started doing stuff afterwards. So instead of being on that low, it actually gave us energy to build something even greater afterwards. And that's what's amazing with this event, because I don't think I've seen anything like this in any other event. I've heard about the 200-way vertical world record, and people did have it down afterwards. But I don't think anyone, even if the 100-way wasn't built, I think we got empowered by this event compared to all the other skydiving events, just like Monica said earlier.
Right. That is so inspiring, because it feels like usually right after a competition, there is a down, but the impact of Project 19 is so big that it followed you right afterwards, and it just keeps on going for you guys. I feel like you're still motivated to move forward. So what's next after this for each of you? Veronica, do you have anything to say? What are your next plans?
Sorry, I keep muting and unmuting myself. I don't know. I guess at the moment I'm still trying to figure out this new life that I'm in. But I do know that walking away from that event, all I feel is hungry for more. I think that Project 19 changed the way we get ready and we train for these events and how we execute them. And so I'm kind of really excited to move forward and see what they'll have going on next and still be a part of it, now knowing that I could still have it, even being that on current, and I still have what it takes, and I can always jump back in and kind of keep going. I do hope that my goals are pretty low, at least right now. I'm just hoping that I can start traveling again and get away from my business and train and skydive and just get in the air. But I do really want to do some more women events. I always feel so much more empowered and happy going to all these female camps than I ever do co-eds, to be honest. And I guess I want to do, when I have a chance, I do want to get out more in my community and make sure that I can bring that energy and enthusiasm to all the girls in Canada, raise up the standard, and have a bunch of badass girls to go do fun things with.
So is it still in the plans to get the 100-way record?
I would say so, yes. I think that, I don't think anyone's done. I think we were so close. Like, I went to the last women's world record when I first started doing records in 2016, and it took us the whole event to get, what was it, 64? And right at the very end, they finally got it. We were doing 90 ways for breakfast on the last day. Like, it was so achievable. There's so much skill. We know how to do it. And the way they structured the whole approach to it, I just feel like it's so achievable. I think the way records are done, period, is going to change after the way the P19 approached the whole scene, being able to go to Abu Dhabi and train the Corps, having the Corps fly together, they took us all and put us in a pod together in the tunnel. And so there's girls I didn't know there, and then suddenly they were like my best friends, you know, and my cross partner was someone I talked to like a good friend instead of just a stranger now, and kind of being intimidated. Like, I don't know how they fly. I don't know if I could trust them. Like, suddenly you know everything about them in the sky that you needed to know. And I think it's just going to make big ways really a lot easier to accomplish. There's a structure, new boundaries have been formed, and there's a beautiful structure that we've created now that's going to make big things achievable, and I will be there for the next 100 way.
Awesome. So from what I gather, Project 19 is done. So for 100 way to happen, we'd have to have a different project. Am I getting this right?
Am I still answering this? I don't know.
Oh, it can be anyone. It could be just a yes or no.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. Monica, do you know? Jillian, you're kind of in the action, I feel, more than anyone else, even though you haven't been jumping, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think Project 19, came and we accomplished what we wanted for that. So yes, to answer your question, I think going forward, if we were to do a 100 way, it would be a different type of project, piggybacked on what we've already started with Project 19, but maybe Project 20 or 21. 24, I don't know. But yes, I think Project 19 and what we set out to do with that is well, it's not done. It's in the works, but going forward, it would be a different type of project.
Okay. So we have a question from the audience. So how did you girls end up with the skydiving level that you currently have? And do you have any message for up and coming women in the audience to get started on free fly big ways?
Well, as someone who thought wasn't to the level to get on that big way record 4 years ago, just go and do any kind of practice that you can, any event, just like run after those events, run after those people that are jumping together. Try even invade their group, just like go in there and go jump. You can do it. Like, just go and put yourself out there.
Ce que je voulais dire, c'était que de mon côté, c'était une progression qui était vraiment différente. Tu sais, Project 19, c'était pas mon objectif principal à ce moment-là, premièrement parce que j'avais pas l'âge pour le faire au départ. Donc, c'est sûr que ça fait pas plusieurs années que je m'entraîne pour ça. Puis, je me concentrais vraiment sur la compétition. Donc, pour moi, ça a été plus comme un bonus de tout l'entraînement que j'avais fait avant. Mais je voulais juste que ça m'amène à dire que pour les autres, c'est un bon conseil que j'aurais à donner pour prendre du niveau. Si on n'a pas toujours les moyens de se rendre aux événements, que ce soit monétaire ou de se déplacer ou peu importe, mais de juste comme poser des questions, regarder des vidéos, puis justement, je pense que je peux être une personne ressource, mettons, là, parce que je suis coach, puis je peux donner des conseils. Fait que de comme pas hésiter à aller vers ce genre de personnes-là, de vraiment pas hésiter à poser les questions si jamais il y en a, puis juste ça peut vraiment aider.
Je pense que Monica, tu voulais ajouter quelque chose?
Oui, en fait, c'est un peu pour compléter ce que mes autres coéquipières ont dit, mais je ne sous-estimerais pas le pouvoir du tunnel et le fameux VFS. VFS, c'est un outil de quelqu'un qui veut faire du static flying dans le ciel. Comme on dit, des fois, les événements, c'est pas toujours possible de les faire. Au Québec, au Canada, on a un hiver qui est très long. Le VFS, c'est une façon d'améliorer vraiment rapidement les skills de statique, de vertical, puis d'être confortable, avoir beaucoup de mouvements et de jambes autour de soi, ce qui fait en sorte que quand on devient membre d'une plus grosse formation, la base est déjà là, où est-ce que tu sais comment manager ton verbal, tu sais comment manager tes bras, tu sais comment flyer ton corps, alors qu'il y a d'autres mondes autour de soi, puis qu'il y a des murs autour en plus. Ça permet aussi, je ne sais pas si c'est la personne qui a posé la question, c'est une fille ou un gars, mais des fois, quand on vole avec du vent à 94 dans le tunnel, ça nous aide aussi à acquérir les skills qu'il faut pour aller un petit peu plus vite, parce que dans le ciel, c'est toujours un petit peu plus vite. Donc, bref, ne pas sous-estimer le pouvoir du tunnel quand on ne peut pas aller au camp d'entraînement. Et le VFS, c'est très important.
Je vais en profiter pour faire une petite plug ici, là, dans le fond, avec l'ACPS, le LTAD et le comité d'initiative des femmes. Là, quand il y a des événements pour la progression des femmes là, dans le parachute, là, vous pouvez appliquer pour du financement. Là, prochainement, on va envoyer des courriels, donc vous allez pouvoir avoir accès à tous les détails. Just for everyone to know, there is funding from LTAD and the WIC if you want to pursue, if you want to become better skydivers. We will be sending out emails pretty shortly so you can have all the details. And I think, Veronica, you have something to add.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like if you want to get better and you want to achieve something, all you have to do is set a goal. Like find something that you can specifically set a goal and set your mind to. I think what made me a mediocre skydiver and then a focused skydiver was the difference. Before I wanted to do it all, so I would do a bunch of jumps in every discipline and really didn't get myself very far in any of them. But when I set a goal to getting on the record and I just focused on that, the ability to go from 0 to hero is a lot easier. Like, you can really charge that one. But when you spread yourself thin amongst all disciplines, it's so much harder and it's so much more expensive to achieve it. So like, take it one goal at a time. You see an event coming, you see like maybe a camp is coming up, and do as many camps as possible, because everyone there is has the same goals in mind. So they help and they build, and you're there with like-minded people and the same skill level. But in order to get to that camp, if you're not good enough yet, like, make it a goal to get good enough. Ask the right people for advice. Go and do some practice jumps, maybe some coach jumps. Maybe you only do 5 jumps instead of 10 for the weekend, but they're good quality skydives. Don't go on zoo dives. Spend your money well. It's expensive out there. So you might do less jumps, but yeah, better quality. Get coaching. They are trained to give you the best advice. They know how to like move their body better. Female coaches are awesome. When I started to learn head down, and I couldn't get my arms up, it really hurt. And the guys were like, just power through it. And then this little French girl was like, no, use this part of your arm. You're stronger there. It makes a difference. So just set a goal and work towards that goal, and just forget about the rest of the world for a minute until you achieve it, and then continue on, So, and I think that's the fastest way to be able to reach any level, to do anything really. But it is possible.
Are there any existing groups in Canada for the Specialized Free Fly Big Way events that you know of?
There is. Well, I don't know, you probably heard before in some way about the Vertical North. They do, well, Monica, I think you're way more well placed to talk about it, so I'll let you talk about it.
Hi, you were doing great. Yeah, Vertical North, where we organize camps, like specializing for big way and vertical sequentials and all that. I know the team has some camps coming up for this summer. I'm not sure if they were announced on each drop zone yet or not. But I mean, you can write me a message, there's JC, Mike Delisi, Alnado. So don't hesitate to reach out to one of us, and then we can for sure get the right information. I mean, for the summer, I'll be more out West Canada. So I'm still working out details if there's a possibility of maybe organizing something out West. So let's see, time will tell.
We have a question from the floor. How do women's record attempts differ from co-ed record attempts?
We actually support each other. I honestly feel like that was one of the biggest difference is that the shift from that I'm in competition with the person beside me mentality to, hey, I'm going to support the person beside me is one of the biggest differences. From the co-ed ones, there's so many people that walk away and go, I never want to do big ways again. That was awful. That experience was awful. I don't think I don't want to speak for everybody, but from my experience, I haven't run into any women that left this going, I never want to do big ways again. And I think that is a common thread throughout a lot of women's events is most women don't do well being, I don't want to say yelled at, but we do well with support. Tell us what we're doing well. And, women supporting women and women coaching women, they understand that. And they understand that, coming at you and telling you that this is what you're doing wrong and this is what you're doing wrong is maybe not the best way to get us to succeed. So women's events are really awesome for that because you're going to come out of it and feel more motivated versus coming out of it wanting to never do it again.
Anyone wants to add anything?
Yeah, I think if I was to do another record at all with the little time that I do have, I would do a woman's record or a woman's event in a heartbeat. It's just like a girls' trip. It's so wonderful. There's just so much pleasure to get out of it. And yes, when I go into co-ed camps, there's always a bit more pressure, and it's not I don't know, I guess it's not like as freeing and empowering. Don't get me wrong, I still would. But if I had to choose one or the other, I'd always go to an all-girls event first.
Awesome. So do you believe, or were you able to achieve this success solely in Canada, or do you recommend training year-round to get to that level that you are at today? Coralie?
I think, like Monica mentioned, it's possible to train in the tunnel. And the first half of my whole career was only in the tunnel, and it brought me to a crazy level. So I think if you don't have the money or time to travel far during the winter tunnel, it can be a good alternative. But if you have the money to do one trip, I think it cannot be bad for the progression as well. But it's not the only way to achieve a goal for sure. And if tunnel is too expensive as well, like I mentioned, just to ask question and just go watch people fly and try to learn by watching, if that works for you, can also be like a good way to help with the progression.
Okay, I think we're gonna go with our last question. Are any of you specifically running camps, coaching this summer? And if we wanted to contact you, how could we do that?
I can go for that one again. I'm hosting my event. It's the Windfall event. Monica was my co-host last year. This year I'm gonna be doing it alone. And it's full already, but if I have people interested more and more, I'll maybe do more next year. And my goal is to have only women's coach, but everyone is invited and everyone can join to be coached. So, and I will also do event in Trois-Rivières. I think it is also only women's coaching thing, but I think everyone is also invited to this one. So all women's this summer.
Any other events?
Yeah, so me, it's still to be determined. Since I'll be out west, I would like to be doing some coaching or organizing in Western Canada, but I still need to figure it out. So I don't have any dates, but if someone wants to message me on Facebook is probably the easiest way. It could be Instagram too, but I'm not a huge Instagram person, so probably more Facebook Messenger. Just shoot me a message and we could work something out for sure. And then I'll try to announce with the Vertical North what I'll be doing in the next couple of weeks.
Coralie, oui, rapidement.
I just forgot that if anyone wanted to contact me, Facebook or mainly Instagram is going to be the best option.
All right, our really last question. Did attending Vertical North Free Fly Big White Camps help at all?
I will say for sure. I've been working and training for 4 years. Mais celle-là, je vais la faire en français, désolée. Donc, pendant 4 ans, je pense que les camps de Vertical North, ça a été une révélation pour moi dans le sens où tu apprends à voler avec différentes personnes. Tu apprends aussi à voler avec des personnes toujours les mêmes. Donc, tu apprends un peu le type de flying de certaines personnes. Tu apprends à faire une cohésion et ça bâtit aussi donc tes connaissances, mais aussi ta confiance. Donc, je pense que ça l'aide beaucoup. C'est des coachs qui te connaissent aussi à la longue. Donc, répétitivement, si c'est les mêmes personnes avec qui tu sautes, ils connaissent tes faiblesses, connaissent tes forces, savent te mettre dans des positions qui sont plus adaptées pour toi. Donc, vraiment, je crois que c'est un des plus beaux cadeaux qui nous est tombé du ciel, là, si je peux dire. Donc, Vertical North.
So a comment from the audience, big shout out to all the girls involved. We are so proud of them. You guys are so inspiring and I have to agree with them. Like now I think I'm actually going to go to the tunnel and really learn it down. I've been wanting to join this forever, but this is, is really making me want to go. So unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. So thank you so much for having been part of this awesome panel. I've learned so much and I hope you did too. Just a reminder to fill out the short survey and stay tuned for Allison's closing remarks. C'est tout le temps dont nous avons pour aujourd'hui. Merci d'avoir participé à ce formidable panel. J'ai beaucoup appris et j'espère que vous aussi. Je vous rappelle de remplir le petit sondage anonyme et rester à l'écoute pour le mot de la fin par Alison.
Well, I don't know about everybody else, but wow. It's been a phenomenal day. Hopefully you guys have all taken a moment to quickly fill out the survey for Project 19 discussion. I'm also going to take a moment to post another survey, and it's for the entire conference. So hopefully you can each take a moment to fill that out as well. Obviously, we were trying to be respectful of everybody's time throughout the day. It is a Saturday. For those of you on the West Coast, we've been up early. And for those of you on the East Coast, well, it's almost dinner time. So I appreciate everyone getting through this. And also, if there's other questions, comments, suggestions that you just didn't get a chance to provide on through social media in this chat forum, it's a little bit tough. Please do not hesitate to email me. I will type in my email address, or maybe Kanina, if you don't mind typing in my CSPA email. For everyone there, you can email me directly. Again, I'm the chair for the Women's Initiative Committee. And so along with my team and Michelle and Kanina and everyone at CSPA, we can certainly look to identify and answer some questions that we might not have been able to. So there is so much that has transpired in the sport of skydiving over many years. It has been inspiring to see women competing on world platforms, women dedicating their exceptional talents to educate the world on monumental moments in history, women igniting conversations to encourage continued growth and change. Without doubt, there are so many who mentor the newest of skydivers through life-changing experiences and newfound skills. We all could not be here today without the hard work behind the scenes at every drop zone and association. I encourage anyone who wants to learn more. Apparently my camera's covered, sorry. Anyone who wants to learn more or get involved or provide suggestions to please, again, reach out to me directly. On behalf of the Canadian Sport Parachuting Association Women's Initiative Committee, I thank all who were instrumental in the Inspire Conference as presenters, panelists, moderators, contributors behind the scenes, and most of all, to you in the audience. Thank you for showing up and showing your support. We are honored to have each of you a part of our vision and our mission to inspire others to get out, to be the change, be the voice, and be the example. Thank you guys so much. We'll leave this up for a bit for anyone who wants to say hello or chat. Thank you guys so much.